All right, I'm Chris Avina with another episode of American Outdoor News. I'm here with Irene Dudley Hanlon from Safari Club International Sables. So, Irene, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I know for a long time, and this isn't my opinion, but SCI was always looked upon way back as the boys' club. Um, Now you're involved with, well, you run the Sables. Can you give us a little bit of, uh, background and history for people who are not familiar with that?
Sure. Sables started back in 1984 with the great Audrey Mertland, who had the foresight to basically create this group called the Lionesses, is what we were formerly called, but we had to change our name because there was a conflict in the name. So we became the Sables back then, and I don't know if you know, but Audrey Mertland was one of the first Diana Award winners. Basically, she's hunted all over the world, every species you can imagine, and has just really put women out there in our community of, SCI, SCIF, and beyond.
Yeah.
So she's been a great asset for women in hunting and conservation and education.
Well, I know way back when I was younger, you wouldn't see women in outdoor sports, especially hunting, and now it's commonplace. And uh, I found that some women, well, a lot of women that hunt are so precise and skilled that they'll out hunt any guy, just about.
Absolutely. I have found, I actually am one of the few that knew nothing about sables and discovered it through Susan Hayes, former president of Sables. She brought me in 2022. And, I always went to the convention with my husband. We looked for hunts for him, but I would never have even fathomed that I would be on the other side as the largest growing population of hunters right now. The demographic is just incredible for women joining. And believe it or not, our group started out even smaller than we are now. This last year, we have gained over 455 members in 1 year. That
Wow.
tells you the movement of women, their interest, and they want to get on board. They want to learn. They want to be mentors. They want to be advocates. There are so many aspects of women's involvement. It's, not just for the hunt. So it makes it really exciting for Sables right now.
Well, I think, especially going to the SCI convention in Nashville, the banquet is always a big event, the Sables banquet. And I think it's more the camaraderie and saying, hey, it's okay. Come on in. You're one of us. Um, why is that such a big event?
It has become, I think, one of the biggest events because women feel like they have found their space at convention. Whether you're there for hunting, to support your husband, to support a girlfriend, just to have a good time, to learn. Um, it's a wide open space, no judging. And in fact, we have sort of taken on, calling ourselves the Sable Sisterhood. There's something there for everybody. And like I said, you don't necessarily have to be a hunter. You just have to be, wanting to understand why it is that people hunt, the conservation side of it. It's just a great, it's a feel good place for, including, what we call our men are becoming our Sable supporters. They support our mission, what we're doing, our advocacy, our wanting to educate, from the little way to, the full grown adult like myself who never would have even considered doing this. I mean, I did hunt as a young child, but sort of got out of it after I got married. And so it was like my first marriage, and I never was introduced to it again until my second marriage. And it was like, wow, this is great. Women can do this. We we are becoming that movement of people that want to be involved.
Well, the Sables have really become a powerful voice in the outdoor industry, since its inception, especially within the conservation and hunting community. Um, how they've, evolved over the years, and what has the impact been on, um, recruitment, mentoring, education, um, and the like.
I have really noticed in the last year being involved that, having become the Sables president, that the involvement of our younger women have become the biggest movers of Sables. They want to know how they can help, how they can improve it, how we can get the message out about women. And, you know, the sky's the limit for them. It really is. They they just want to help, whatever that
Yeah.
means to them. Each individual is different. And so, you have those that want to mentor young adults, children. You have those that have their mother that have never done it, and so they want to mentor and bring their mom in, their aunts, girlfriends. And so I believe the the fact that I I just sort of feel like women are an open book. And so you know where we stand, and that's what's been the biggest drive, is like, we've just opened the doors and say, come on in. There's something for everyone here. And it's not always, like I said, about hunting. It's about understanding why we hunt, why we advocate, why we educate, why we conserve. So
Well, I interviewed four of the past, Young Huntress Award winners, during the convention, and their camaraderie is really remarkable. They live in different parts of the country, but they communicate throughout the year. And I asked them, I said, is there a competition of who shot what or who's going on this trip? They're like, oh no, I'm like, come on. There's competition in everything. I don't,
I think the biggest competition you'll find is in the Diana of the group. And it's not really a competition, even in that sense. I mean, they are a huge supportive group. And I feel like Sables is the same. We just had an event this past weekend at Legends Ranch. And talk about women that knew nothing about SCI. They knew nothing about Sables. They knew nothing about hunting or anything. They'd never been involved. And they came out for a culinary event. And I would say 90% of them walked away with a new lifelong friend in the Sable Sisterhood. It it just grows that. We support one another. We're there to elevate and not create competition per se. Yeah, there's always a little bit of, oh, I want to go do this. Oh, yeah, let's go do that. But it's never to the point, well, I shot something that, a 300 and you only shot, a 180 or whatever it is. There's never been that I have witnessed that kind of competition. It's always a competition. Oh, yeah, let's go. Let's do. That's
yeah.
the competition of where can we go next. And so it elevates women and it empowers them.
So you just finished the event at the Legends Ranch. What did that entail, besides the cooking aspect? Uh,
We're very thankful for Robert Sergi for hosting us, number one. And what it was so that it was to understand, a lot of times as a female, your husband goes out hunting and, he brings back this animal and you're like, oh, great. What do I do with it? I don't know. I'm not a game person. I'm not a wing person, whatever. So what they did was they gave ideas of, we made seasonings. Um, they also tasted several different game meats, kangaroo, pheasant, salmon. I think there
Love
was
it.
venison. There was a variety of meats. And so what they did was have them prepare different items out of the different meats so that they were comfortable with it, and, gave them instruction on how to prepare such meats so that a lot of people get that weird idea of, everything tastes gamey and I'm not going to try it. It's
It don't.
absolutely not true, but nobody teaches you how to prepare that. So this was one of the first classes. We had one back in August of last year where we did the Aim and Adventure, which was centered around this sort of, fill the table kind of thing. And so we will be creating more of these for women throughout the country where they can go and attend and kind of figure out, what can I do with this animal? I don't necessarily, I don't have to go to the grocery store to buy my meat. My husband brought it home. I can utilize this, and it's a
Yep.
fantastic meal. It's great. And what better, farm to table could you get than that?
Well, there's a really good book on Amazon called Hunter's Harvest. It's a journey from field to feast and gives step-by-step instructions on how to prepare wild game, different recipes for elk, venison, duck, fish. Uh, and I spent a lot of time writing it. So
Well, I think we're going to have to propose that at our next event. Here's a book for you, Open it. It has a lot of information. So,
yeah,
yeah, and
I'm a foodie. So I write the cooking section for American Outdoor News, and over the past 4 or 5 years, well, 8 years now, uh, I said, you know what? Why don't I just take all the recipes and put it into a cookbook? 'Cause
And it's true, because I think people think because you're out hunting this animal, it's a wild animal, what do I do? And it's like, it's really no different than when you go to the grocery store and you buy a piece of tenderloin or, a steak or whatever it is, ground beef even. Um, there, you, nothing goes to waste. You can utilize everything from that animal you've harvested, and or even if a friend offers you, some meat from, their hunt, be creative, be adventurous, go out and, try to, make something that you and your family all can enjoy together.
I don't offer meat that I harvest.
You're stingy, right?
That's mine.
Yeah. I actually have we have some antelope in our freezer that we got just this past September, and I've been saving those back straps because I cooked the first, set of back straps, and I was like, I just want to savor them. They were so sweet, they were so tender, they were delicious. And so it's
Yeah.
like, okay, now I need to go ahead and empty that freezer because it's time to fill it again. Now the
Yeah.
fall's coming. So I'm like, okay, I guess I shouldn't be so stingy and invite somebody over to eat some of them with us. So
Well, it's summertime. You break out the smoker. It's grilling season.
yeah. And not only that, but at this event, they also did, a full wine pairing and etiquette. And, sometimes we forget those things, and it's nice to feel special in your own kitchen. It's like, okay, I made this delicious meal. Let's do it upright. Let's have a wine course. Let's have, bring out the china, whatever it is that makes you feel good, and let's eat. Like, this is really a special feast for us. You don't have to wait for Thanksgiving or somebody's birthday. Just do it because it's fun.
And it's funny because um, people may be interested in different aspects of the outdoor industry, whether it's cooking or hiking or whatever. But once you throw the carrot out there, it's easy to pull them into other parts of it.
Absolutely. And at this event that we did this past weekend, we went on a river rafting trip. And talk about having to team build, because you have to get that boat, in the right direction and not running into trees and getting, hung up on rocks. And so you build that relationship of, I have to trust them, and so I think a lot of that is why it's been so successful is, there's always a team building aspect of this, that you really meet those people and get to know, their personalities, where their strong points are, their weakest points, and you lift them. You really lift them. And so they know that, you're not there to judge, you're there to help. So
It's easier to learn from your peers when you're
exactly.
working together on something. Now,
Exactly.
what events do you have coming up?
We actually have the Amen Adventure that we did last year is coming up on September 24th through 27th. All Sables members will receive the invite to join us again, and that'll be just outside of San Antonio, Texas, in Batesville, Texas, near Uvalde. We will also be doing a humanitarian component of that and visiting the area where all the students, unfortunately, that were, taken out by a bad character. And so we will be doing something in conjunction with them, just to, tell them, what, all shooters we're not bad people. We really aren't bad people. We have a heart.
Well, people in our industry are not the people that you see on TV.
That's
Um,
exactly right.
we're responsible gun owners. We respect life. We respect the animals that we hunt. It's not about killing.
No,
It's about living.
exactly.
Yeah, and it's really not the meaning of um, our outdoor lifestyle. It's the feeling of our outdoor lifestyle.
Exactly. It gets you out. It gets you to breathe that fresh air. It gets you to really appreciate what Mother Nature has given you. I mean, it's there's so much more than sitting at your computer, like I'm sure we all do every single day. And, what kind of feedback are you getting from your computer or your cell phone? Nothing like getting outside. I mean, there is nothing. You can't compare it. I always say, I have a granddaughter who's 4 years old, and comes and says, "Ma, can I see your cell phone?" No way. We're going outside. We're going to go run in the sprinklers. We're going to go get muddy. We are going to go play. And I think that's where we, as, the grandparents of these littles, where we fall into line, because a lot of the parents don't have time. We need to step up our game and say, you know what, we're going to get our babies outside. We are going to get them away from that, because I think a lot of that has to do with, why we have so much ADHD, et cetera, labeling children is because they have no outlet. And so our part is to educate, and we need to do that. We need to be better at it. So
Well, these programs, these events, these different initiatives, uh, dinners, auctions, whatever it is, it's a great way to introduce people to the outdoors, get them involved, let them feel the excitement that we feel. In fact, I'm hosting a banquet to promote and raise money for Safari Club International in the fall here on Long Island, because there's not a huge presence for Safari Club here. We have a very large hunting community, but there's not a presence. So we're going to be hosting this event, boots, buckles, and backstraps.
uh,
We're gonna have raffles and silent auctions and whatnot, and um, we do have wine pairing. I have Delicato Wines that's going to be hosting. They're going to be sponsoring along with Wild Fork Foods. So there's going to be some wild game. There's going to be different wines. There's going to be a ton of product that they could bid on. And I'll be announcing a Long Island chapter of SEI. I'm starting it. I'm in the process now.
That's incredible because that it's individuals like you that, want to see this happening within their own communities. I feel like every chapter that we have in SCI should have a Sables committee within their chapter because
Yep.
it has always been perceived, the good old boy network, it's the good old boys. But if you want to keep your wives, girlfriends, daughters, nieces, whatever it is involved, you need to do this. You need to include them, and therefore
Yeah.
it becomes a family. Not just the boys, not just the girls, it's a family, and we all are in this together to spread a message, that we're out here. We have a purpose and we have the heart to make this grow and get, our children involved. Because if we don't get our children involved and we're not involved, you know, it's kind of one of those things that it would become a dying industry and we don't want that. I never want to see that happen. We have to be at the forefront of this and make it grow and spread our message. And that's my goal.
Yeah.
Spread this
And
message.
and that's what we're doing with this event. It's bring your girlfriend, bring your wife. It's a family event. Uh, American Outdoor News is going to be handing out awards to local hunters, for conservation, for mentorship, for sportsmen, sportswoman of the year. Um, People like to be recognized for their accomplishments and their contributions. And this is a great way to get people more involved in their community.
Absolutely. And we on the Sables side this year, I know did awards in the past, but we are reinstituting it. And we have the Audrey Mertland Award, and that will be awarded during convention to our Sables Member of the Year. That will be
Hmm.
an individual who presents all those wonderful qualities that Audrey Mertland did. She went out there. She entered the boys' world and said, "You know what? I'm gonna tear down this wall, and women are gonna be involved, and we have something to offer." So we're doing that as well as the Sables Committee of the Year. So we have our awards coming up, and I'm so excited. We have a task force working on building how this is going to be done, and it will be launched in the fall so that we will have, people applying, et cetera, like they do for, the Hunter of the Year, et cetera. So it'll be the Sables Member of the Year. So I'm really excited to get this going again. I think it's a good time and good
It's a
opportunity.
great idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, if people love to be recognized, and um, it's a way for the organization to give back to.
exactly. Exactly. You want to recognize those that are really promoting, not even promoting you, but are spreading your message. And, Sables is definitely a positive message, and there's a lot that these individuals have to give. It, and like I keep saying, it's not just about educating women, it's about educating children, young adults, college students. In fact, now I think it's parents. Parents
Yeah.
really need to be on board because, those 80s kids are now the parents and they were, they're sort of like, okay, what do we do? They were the computer generation. And so that's all they know. And so it's time to educate them and get them outside with their kids.
As the president of the Sables, what is your vision for the future of the organization? What message do you want to convey, and how do you want to institute it?
What My vision for Sables is to continue to grow these events, the Aim and Adventure, the culinary events, a wing shooting event, anything that gets people involved.
Uh,
in getting outside that's my message. It's like, you don't have to be out there hunting. I just want us to grow that information that's set forth for women, children, young adults, and hopefully inspire them that they can do anything they put their mind to. They shouldn't be afraid. There's a mentor for them somewhere, somehow. We all support one another. And I think that's that's the biggest message for Sables, is that we want to educate you. We want to mentor you. We want to lift you and inspire you to become the very best that you can be in whatever aspect this is. And if I can do that, I think I've definitely reached my goal and mission for my presidency as the Sables president. Um, I don't want people to be afraid because they don't know. It's like you can be afraid if you don't, if you did it and you're still afraid. But if you don't know, it's like trying a new piece of food. You don't know what it tastes like until you try it. So if you try it and you're still afraid, we're not going to convert 100% of the people. That's never going to happen. And that's not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to educate these people that, you can do this, and don't be afraid. There's somebody out there to help you.
Is there a website that people can go to learn more about the Sables and find out about upcoming events and things of that nature?
Absolutely. If they either go to the Safari Club International, you can click on a link there that will lead you to the foundation. Sables is located under the foundation. I'm not exactly sure of the website link, but it's Safari Club International Foundation, that you get to the link to get there, and then Sables is a button click in there, and it'll give you all the information of how to become a member, how to get involved, how to volunteer, all the events that are happening, etc. So there's a lot of information out there. So if you go to the Safari Club International, you should be able to jump through the links to get to Sables. You will be able to get there. So
One of the great things I like about going to these events, they're in different parts of the country. You get to travel. You get to meet people from different areas. Um, that hunting is not the same as where you are. I know hunting on the East Coast is different than hunting in the Midwest. Um, you could make friends with people. You could hunt with them at their place. You could have them at your place to hunt with you. You could plan destination hunts. You might have, friends that you hunt with here that might not want to go to Africa or New Zealand or whatever. So you're introduced to people that want to go. They want to adventure. They want to experience and take the biggest bite out of life that they can. You can meet friends and basically become family with them.
it really is true. And there are those that come and they participate, and I call them the outliers. They kind of voyeur around and go, I'm not sure about this group. I'm not sure about this group. And I would say 9 out of 10 of those people go, I didn't realize that's what you did, or that's, what you're doing, or how you did it, or anything like that. They're just absolutely surprised. And by association, they become involved, just because they're like, I didn't realize my girlfriend did this. That was sort of something, that we never talked about. And in these events, I was really shocked at how many individuals, their husbands have done it their whole life. They've never done a thing. They didn't want to be involved. And now all of a sudden they're on board. Yeah, I can do this. You empower them to be able to want to do this. So it's a camaraderie. It's just a community, is what I always say. Sables builds community, and
Yeah.
that's what it's all about.
It's funny, the guys are like, oh, I'm going hunting with the guys in Texas. Now all of a sudden the women are saying, well, we got a girls trip and we're going to New Zealand.
Exactly, exactly. And the beauty of it is they're not afraid anymore. They have found their niche. And I think most men are pretty supportive of either their girlfriends, their daughters, their wives,
Hmm.
their whatever it is, relation to them, getting involved in doing this. I just think it was one of those things. They didn't think to even share that because it was considered a guy's thing. And now they're like, wow, we can do this together as a family. This is great. So,
And it's not male or female when you're in camp. You're just another hunter, and
exactly.
they're doing their thing and they're doing it well.
Yeah. And
So,
taking care of one another. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
all right. Well, if you want to find out more, go to safariclub.org. Click on the Sables tab and find out more about the events and the organization within Safari Club International. And if you're in the Long Island metro area in September, go to AmericanOutdoorNews.com. You can buy tickets to the Boots, Buckles, and Banquets, Boots, Buckles, and Backstraps Banquet, September 17th. It's going to be a great event, and we hope to see you all again.
Thank you so much.
We love our children. We protect them. We guide them. We prepare them for life in the world. With all that we do, from deep in our hearts, we cannot control all things. Life-threatening illnesses and disabilities affect far too many of our children each year. While we cannot change the circumstance, we can make dreams come true. Dreams to provide hope, to provide spiritual healing and strength, to provide moments of happiness and relief in the hardest of times. We can give a glimmer of light and hope in a time of darkness and despair. Join huntofalifetime.org to help make dreams come true, to provide hope for children with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Hunt of a Lifetime is a non-profit organization fulfilling dreams for hunting and fishing trips to youth 21 and under with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Visit huntofalifetime.org to learn how you can make a difference.